Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. So, I wanted to make a video about maturity versus immaturity, and I came up with that when I was contemplating about a few people I met recently I had a kind of difficult experience with, and all those aspects I'm going to talk about are basically in all of us, or we are either working on them, right? Because we can mature, obviously, and uh, work on things because, of course, we can. So, signs of immaturity are usually people who expect you to share their opinion. For some people, it's really difficult to have people who don't share their opinion on whatever it may be. It can be about diet and about just views on the world. And I'm not trying to talk about, racism, because obviously when we have opinions that are limiting other people's lives or have to do with hate, um, that's, I mean, not an, how can I put it? If you, with your opinions about things, are spreading hate and intolerance, and if you're limiting somebody else's freedom, um, then this has nothing to do with opinion. That has just to do with um, racism and thinking you're better than everyone else, right? And there's a difference between having another opinion and sharing that openly. Like, I don't like going on vacation um, and just party and drink, right? And some people prefer that, and there's nothing wrong if I enjoy partying. And some people would rather get to know the culture or whatever. And why not just respect that if you are also supporting the tourism in that other country? Whatever, it's just a simple idea. But I wanted to talk about immaturity and how we can spot signs of immaturity in people. So, first of all, a lot of times can't deal with you having a different opinion about something, about someone, so they get really triggered or irritated, or they can't really deal with it because, in their opinion, if you like them, you have to share their opinion, or if you are their friend, you have to share their opinion. And it stems from a very old limiting belief from childhood, where we didn't learn that who we are and what we express is respected and seen and validated and loved. If our parents weren't mature enough to see our uniqueness, but rather us being an extension of them or their lives, so we had to choose a partner or a profession that would benefit their ego, or we had to live their dreams or live up to their expectations of how a life should look like. I should study this and that. I should have this kind of profession because my parents or my caregivers couldn't handle me being different than them, which is uh, the rule, because we are never alike, even if it's about our parents, and maybe sometimes especially here, right? uh, and people often confuse love with being the same or being on your side or having your opinion. So immature people, or people who have like a lot of immature uh, characteristics, will kind of always try to pull you onto your side by many kind of different with many kind of different skills. Like they will talk about someone with you, gossip about other people, talk negatively, because they need this um, kind of support from you, that two people or three people are against another or against one other person. And they kind of need the approval of, yes, I'm on your side. I also think the other person is always rude or unfriendly, and I also think they shouldn't wear these kind of shoes or whatever. um, Another sign of immaturity is basically when we um, still need a lot of validation and permission, when we seek permission from others to do certain things, and we need validation for what we do, so we keep expecting others to validate what we do, even though we do it for ourselves, or we chose to do it, like we chose a specific profession, we chose to be a mom. But when we are immature about that, because we still seek validation from others because of our own inability to see our worthiness and our wholeness and our divinity and everything that we are. Um, for everything we do, like raising a child, we either might seek validation from other people, like, look what I'm doing, or we seek validation from the child, um, which is a very toxic uh, trait to do that. And immaturity is basically you not seeing your wholeness and your worthiness, and you not knowing your self-esteem, and you not knowing who you are. That's why you keep basically doing things out of need for validation from others, or being seen or valued. And I think it's very sneaky, because a lot of times it's difficult to um, find the difference between something we really do for ourselves or we do for others, right? When we think of something we would like to do, a lot of us also, and I think it's very, very hidden, it's often very unconscious that we do that. Think about how it could look cool when we travel all the time. I did that. And think how we, like the whole fashion industry basically is based on our immaturity or our insecurities around our own person, or the fashion industry, all marketing, all the cosmetic industry, everything on social media, which is about how we look and how we can look better, or can look prettier, or like can seem cooler, right? I'm not saying that everyone who's doing that, who's living a life that looks really good on the outside, is actually not really happy. I'm not saying if you live a life of like someone constantly traveling and like you post all these really cool pictures, I'm not saying that you're not really completely fulfilled, right? But we get distracted by that, and we have to pay attention to what we see in someone in their current situation, in that now moment, in that 1 second they took the picture. We don't see all of their lives. So um, immaturity is also people pleasing, needing validation, trying to be liked all the time. So we are really nice and friendly, which is not a bad thing. But if you keep doing that out of your neediness, out of needing to be liked, needing to be seen. And it doesn't come from a place of empowerment and you feeling, like, I like this person and that's why I'm nice and friendly, right? I'm not nice and overly giving to that person because I expect something back. And some people do that in a way that they give you something and they keep giving you something, and it doesn't come from an empowered place. It rather comes from neediness and the inner child that is hurt and still needs um, to be seen, and that's why and that could be in any kind of age. If you haven't healed your inner child, you stay immature. Um, what else is immature? Focusing on others constantly, on what they are doing, how they live their lives, and focusing on that in a negative way. And gossiping is basically quite immature. It always reminds me of teenagers, and teenagers can be very mature these days because they have a broader focus, some of them, to what's important. I met people gossiping of all kinds of ages, and they were 40, they were 50, 30, 60. You can be immature in any kind of age, at any kind of age, and you can, especially when you are, if you haven't healed your inner childhood wound of by reparenting yourself, by seeing who you are, validating who you are, taking care of your needs, your emotions. If you grew up in a way where your needs weren't met, where your emotions have been neglected and not seen and not validated, and you carry that with you, and you don't heal it, and you instead point fingers or point your finger at others, you'll just keep distracting yourself from what needs to be healed here. And that is what gossiping is. It's just me needing that connection with the other person I'm gossiping with to build um a wall, or like some people always need the confrontation or the negativity. It's some unhealed trauma from childhood um, where negativity was just basically the only reality, and later on, when things are not negative or not difficult, or there is not a conflict or there isn't trauma, I feel empty and I feel something is missing, so I create that trauma. So immaturity is basically not understanding, being unconscious of why I need to gossip, why I need to build, why I need to another person to gossip with. And maybe even I gossip about that person as well, maybe I have another person, and then I build those structures or those really toxic constructs of mistrust and toxicity and judging and pointing fingers. Everything that is not authentic has a lot to do with immaturity, because if I'm immature, or if I am mature, I'm able to be authentic because I worked on myself, I know my self-worth, I see myself, I value myself, I honor myself, and I know the people with the same values will understand my boundaries, will understand me needing space, and won't take that personally. If you're immature and you still need other people's validation, if you still need other people to, be very close to you in a way that is like, yes, I'm on your side, yes, I see it the same way. And you constantly build those structures or constructs with another person against another human being to feel safe, to have this sense of, oh yeah, this person is against this other person too, because they are not acting the way we expected, or they are not um, they have different values or hobbies, um, and the more hurt your inner child is, the more you seek those the more you create drama, and the more you will point fingers, and the more you will, it's a way of um, it's a way of building and like having the group that gives you safety, because you feel so miserable and unstable inside, and because you don't want to pay attention to what's going on in here, you point fingers and focus on others. Immaturity is us. Let me think. Needing validation, permission. Us. What is immature? Yeah, needing people to have the same values in order for me to like them, or to love them, or to honor them, or to value them as a person, right? We constantly build those, I like you, I don't like you, she likes you, she doesn't like you. Like, how childish is it to constantly build those things that are that have to do with those personal priorities of who we like or don't like. It's very childish, it's very immature, because why can we not honor the other person just because they have different values? It's not about that. And yeah, and it's an act of growth to understand that we can have different values and interests and still like each other and value each other. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you.